Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Geek Report. This episode of the Geek Report will focus on the weeks of August 4th, 2025 through August 22nd, 2025. Let's take a look at what all happened in the world of TV, movies and gaming during these weeks.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing good. Hope you all are doing happy, doing blessed, and doing overall safe. Welcome to your Geek Report for the weeks of August the 4th through August the 22nd of 2025. Let's get started with what's been going on in the world of geek news these past few weeks. And we're going to start off in the TV and movie news segment. The big news out of this area is that Gina Carano has settled her lawsuit with Disney. We're going to talk about this a little bit and overall what this means. Then we got some more news that Disney will be ending Hulu in 2026. I'm going to kind of talk about this for a little bit and just give you some of my thoughts on it. Then we will move on into gaming news. And the first big gaming news we got was that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, a popular PS4 game, will be ending support for the PlayStation 4 and moving everything over to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So after November 13th, you will no longer be able to access PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds from PlayStation 4. And in that same vein, we got news that Sony increased their prices on all their PlayStation 5 consoles. I talked about this for a little bit and just gave you some overall thoughts on it. And finally, we got another Black Ops 7 reveal trailer. You know, this one dropped at Gamescom, and I kind of talked about it for a little bit. So sit back, relax, grab yourself something to drink, grab yourself something to eat, and let's look at the Geek Report for the weeks of August the 4th through August the 22nd of 2025.
Our first segment tonight is our movie and TV news segment.
So getting started with our movie and TV news. We got some news concerning the Gina Carano lawsuit. Now, I kind of want to go back to how this all started. So going back in 2020, there was a show called The Mandalorian. It came on Disney Plus. It was in the Star Wars universe, and it was pretty good. Seasons 1 and 2 were pretty decent. Season 3, not so much. On seasons 1 and 2, okay, a new character called Cara Dune was introduced. And this was played by the actress Gina Carano, okay? Now, as soon as her character kind of came on the scene is really when the trouble started, okay? And to this day, I think that this campaign to get her fired was not organic. That there was someone at Disney behind it, okay? But anyway, so what really started this was she refused to put her pronouns in her bio. Heck, I don't have my pronouns in my bio, okay? It's her, at the time, Twitter account. Now it's X. It's her account, okay? That's the way I see it. She can put whatever she wants in her bio, okay? I have no say in it. No one else should have any say in it, okay? Well, anyway, for the longest time, she refused to do this. You know, she said, you know what? My pronouns are my business, no one else's, okay? And really, I don't see the whole point in having pronouns, okay? And of course, this set the crazies, I call them the crazies, on a whirlwind, okay? Oh, she's this, oh, she's that, blah, blah, blah. Well, finally, she went and she put beep, bop, boop in it. It's kind of like the droid sounds from Star Wars. Beep, bop, boop, okay? Literally, that's all she put in it, okay? And that made things even worse. I mean, people just went completely nuts. And when I mean people, I mean these people on X and Facebook who think that if you don't believe what they believe, you gotta be destroyed. Okay? And suddenly, out of nowhere, this campaign of Fire Gina Carano came up. Okay? And I'm just gonna be honest with you. To this day, I think that there were people behind Disney, okay, at Disney Studios who were behind it, okay? Because if you look at several YouTubers at that time, they determined that a bunch of these accounts that were calling for her to be fired were basically run by bots, okay? Or, you know, or people were retweeting the bots, so forth, okay? So to this day, I don't think it was organic. I think it was someone at Disney stirring the pot, okay? But that's neither here or there. So this whole Fire Gina Carano thing gets started. And according to her interview with Ben Shapiro, she went through what she called a struggle session where she had to listen to people from the LGBTQIA community and listen to them explain to her why what she did was so hurtful. I didn't see anything hurtful by it, okay? But apparently these people did, and she had to listen to them basically shout down to her on why this was so hurtful and why this hurt your feelings so badly and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then we fast forward to 2022. Season 2 of The Mandalorian premieres. It's a great show at this point. The finale premieres, and it's still a great show, okay? Gina goes and posts a tweet on X, which is still Twitter at the time, okay? Along with some of her other tweets about being against the vax and some other things, this tweet shows a picture from WW2 with the caption, "It didn't start with the camps. It started with hating against neighbor. When a government tells you to hate your neighbor, you should be worried." Which is completely true. And that's all it said was the picture and the caption. Okay? And if I can find that tweet on here, I'll post it. Okay? So, that happens. Okay? And immediately afterward, Lucasfilm comes out, doesn't even call her, doesn't even write her. Even in an interview, she went and said that the first she heard of it were when friends were calling her, telling her about this tweet, asking her if she had been fired or what. But Lucasfilm comes out with a tweet saying that she's no longer working with Lucasfilm and her opinions are abhorrent. Okay? Then her talent agency, UTA, basically dumps her by the wayside. Okay? Now that's bad enough, but suddenly all these movie offers and TV show offers just suddenly dry up. Okay? I mean, the character Cara Dune at this point was so popular that she literally was going to be in her own series. Okay? And then overnight, that all goes away. Okay. So fast forward to 2024. She files a lawsuit against Disney with that being backed by Elon Musk. Okay. She files a lawsuit against Disney, basically saying that Disney fired her because of her political beliefs. That's against the law. You can't fire someone over that, blah, blah, blah. This past year, the last update we got before this one was that the judge had ordered what they call discovery. All right, and discovery is where both sides give their information to the other. Now, while not all the information would have gotten out, okay, I will be the first one to admit that. Some of it would have, okay. Immediately after this ruling by this judge is when Disney started coming to her lawyers with offers. This past week, we got news that a settlement has been reached. And I'm going to start with her statement, okay? So this is her statement over on X, okay? And it says, "I have come to an agreement with Disney and Lucasfilm, and which I believe is the best outcome. I want to extend my deepest and heartfelt gratitude to Elon Musk, who did the good Samaritan deed for me in funding my lawsuit. Thank you, Mr. Musk X, for backing my case. To my lawyers who walked me through this unknown territory, thank you for your wisdom and guidance. I am humbled and grateful to God for His love and grace in this outcome. I'd like to thank all of you for your unrelenting support. You've been the heartbeat that has kept my story alive. I hope to make you proud. I am excited to flip the page and move on to the next chapter. My desire remains in the arts, acting, that sort of thing, which is where I hope you will join me. Yes, I'm smiling from my heart to yours, Gina. Okay, that was her statement. Okay. Now, this is from Variety. Okay, and this is Lucasfilm's statement. Okay. It says here that the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce they have reached an agreement with Gina to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating the colleagues with kindness and respect. With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work with Ms. Carano in the future. That was the Walt Disney Lucasfilm statement, okay? First off, I know there are a lot of YouTubers and people out there who are saying that she should have kept up the fight, that she should have kept going with the fight, okay? We gotta remember one thing. We were just spectators. She was the one in the arena, okay? At the end of the day, we can go back to our lives, but this directly affected her life, okay? She was the one in the arena. She was the gladiator who was fighting the lions and tigers and bears and God knows what else, okay? So, if she felt that at this point that this settlement was the good enough settlement, then I'm all for her, like, kind of stepping away, okay? If she felt that, okay, I accomplished what I needed to accomplish, then I'm all for it. Okay, I literally am all for it. Okay, and while yes, I would have loved to seen what Discovery would have brought up, because whatever was in Discovery was bad enough for them to start offering her deals. Okay, then still, I would have loved to seen what that Discovery was. I would have loved to have seen it. But if she felt that at this point that this offer was good enough, that she could finally put this part of her life behind her and move forward, then I'm all happy for her. Really, I am. Because let's face it, okay, by this lawsuit and by her strength of being able to withstand the crazies out there, she basically accomplished a big thing by showing how bad Disney was. Okay, one of the whole reasons that season 3 of The Mandalorian was so bad was because it didn't have her in it. Okay, I mean, it really don't matter who you ask. Okay, lots of people felt that she should have been in season 3 of The Mandalorian. A lot of people were excited for her own series, Rangers of a New Republic. Okay, and the fact that she wasn't there, that her show got canceled, and the way it was done ticked off a lot of people and kind of showed the true colors of what was going on at Disney. To not just the Star Wars fans, not just to the Disney fans, but to normal people who just go to work and who just seldomly watch Star Wars and stuff, it showed them how bad Disney was. Okay. And to this day, I think there were people at Disney behind the whole thing. Okay, I think that there were people behind the whole, fire Gina Carano thing. And to this day, she has lines of people at conventions wanting her to sign autographs and stuff. Okay, but I just want to give you a few of my thoughts on it. So first off, my main thought is whatever was in Discovery had to have been so bad that they didn't want it to get out. Okay, which leads me to kind of tell me that not only was it like civil, like a civil lawsuit thing, I think it was criminal. Okay, I really do think that if any of this information had gotten out in Discovery, we could be looking at criminal charges against Disney. Okay, we really could. Okay, that's my main point. Is that what was ever in Discovery was so bad that it didn't just border on civil; it crossed the line from civil into criminal. Okay. Another thing is that this lawsuit has shown people just how scummy Disney is. Okay. Just really how bad Disney is. Just by her lawsuit. Because stuff has come out about it. Okay. And and this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? This ain't even the Discovery stuff. This is her version of what happened, okay? Whereas Disney's not giving us their version. They're just keeping their mouth shut. But she's like saying, hey, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and so forth. And without Disney's version, all we have to go on is what she is saying. And she's backed it up with receipts. Okay? She's backed it up with emails and stuff that her lawyers can confirm. Hey, this was said in the email, this was said in the email, and so forth. Okay? So it's shown just by the lawsuit alone, not even Discovery, just the lawsuit, just how bad things are at Disney, at Lucasfilm. And maybe this will come out later, but where's Kathleen Kennedy's statement? Why hasn't she made a statement yet? Okay, now let's get something clear. She's going to get burned because a lot of people felt that she was behind all this. I'm in that camp too, okay? But where's her statement at? Okay, literally, where's her statement at? She was a part of this. She was the one running Lucasfilm at the time. Why hasn't she stepped up and been like, hey, this happened under my watch. No, Gina is a good actress. What? Some type of statement, okay? Where's her statement at? As of the recording of this video, she has not come out with a statement. Okay? Where the heck is her statement at? Even if it's just on X. Okay? Even if it's some boilerplate statement that some intern at Lucasfilm wrote up. Where's it at? Because she hasn't made one yet. And you know what? I think it's because she's scared to give a statement. Because we're all going to call her out on her nonsense. But she was the boss. All this happened under her watch. And she needs to take a little bit of responsibility and say, okay, look, this all happened under my watch. Maybe it shouldn't have, maybe it should have, but it's done with, and I take responsibility for everything that's transpired, okay? Because that is what a boss does, or a leader does, I should say. And I think it does kind of show Kathleen Kennedy's true colors in this whole situation. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to go back to their statement, okay? And this is their statement right here. And I want to look down here at the bottom here where it says, with this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work with Ms. Carano in the future. Let me say this. First off, I don't think Gina is going to go back to work with Disney until at such time as there's major changes. But the fact that they said that kind of makes me think that maybe part of this arrangement was that there was going to be major changes at Disney. So I have to kind of wonder if perhaps this lawsuit is going to be the catalyst that gets Kathleen out. Okay? Because she's not made a statement. She's not said anything to anyone. She's not tweeted about anything. Okay, as of the recording of this video. Now, maybe that'll come out later on and I'll talk about it. But she's not made any type of statement herself. So so that kind of puts the idea in my head. Is part of this lawsuit, is part of this settlement that Kathleen retires. That she finally, exits stage left and puts someone else in charge of Star Wars and Lucasfilm. Okay? I'm kind of wondering that. And if they're talking about identifying opportunities to work with her in the future, Okay, what changes are going to be made to make sure that happens? Because they want her back, okay? Because she has a solid fan base that would watch her movies, okay? She has proven that she loves the fans and all that. And she was even up for her own series, a Star Wars series called Rangers of the New Republic, okay? Before all this happened and it got canceled because of it, okay? So, if they're talking about other opportunities, is that just words like they're trying to be nice? Or is that actual, like, okay, we're making some changes so that way we can facilitate some type of work relationship with her in the future? Because I don't know which side to believe, but that's what I'm getting from that. I'm getting two things. That A, this could be the catalyst that forces Kathleen out, and B, that they just could be playing nice, or that they could actually be trying to facilitate some type of work relationship with her, so that way, we can pick up Rangers of the New Republic and so forth. Okay, because in season 3 of The Mandalorian, she wasn't killed off. Okay, there was a throwaway line about her joining Republic Special Forces. So technically in the Star Wars universe, she's still out there doing her thing, okay? And they could bring her back at any time. All right. So I have to wonder: is there some type of arrangement behind the scenes that's part of the settlement that says that either Jon Favreau will get to do his series his way, no interferences, or that Kathleen is going to be out, that she's leaving this year or next year, that she's on her way out as part of the settlement. Okay? But to kind of recap what I'm talking about here, Gina Carano has made a settlement with Disney to end her lawsuit. The lawsuit's over. We don't know the details of the settlement, but there's a lot here, okay? There's a lot here that they ain't saying, and really what they're not saying speaks honestly more than what they are saying. But as far as Gina's concerned, if she's happy with the settlement, if she can move forward now, if she was the one in the arena. For all accounts, she was the one in the arena. And if she's happy with the result and smiling, then I say we should all support her and smile too.
Continuing on with this week's TV and movie news segment.
So moving on in our movie and TV news, the past couple of years has seen a dramatic change in how we get our entertainment. For the past couple of years, instead of having appointment TV, where where you literally sat down at a specific time and watched a programming that you liked, it's become the Netflix model, where if you miss it at this time, you can just come back and pick it up later on. Okay. Well, since that time, it seems like everyone and their uncle has a streaming service. Okay. I mean, you've got Hulu, you've got Disney Plus, you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Paramount Plus, you have Netflix. That's not including like Tubi, Pluto TV. There's just so many streaming services out there. Okay. Well, this past few weeks, we got news that the number of streaming services out there will be getting smaller. Hulu will be officially shutting down next year and consolidating with Disney Plus. On one hand, I can see why they're doing this. Because, if Disney owns Hulu, which it does now, there's no sense in having Disney Plus and Hulu. There's no sense in it, okay? Here's where I'm kind of fuzzy on a few things. Okay, why would you shut down Hulu and just integrate everything into Disney Plus? Okay, and the reason I say that is this. Disney Plus is obviously made for Star Wars fans, Marvel fans, and kids. Okay, that's who it's made for. Okay, it's made for a very specific audience in mind. Hulu would be more broadly have more broad audience. Okay, like if you miss an episode of The Bachelorette or America's Got Talent, you can watch it on Hulu. You could not do that on Disney Plus. Okay. So why would you integrate everything from Hulu onto Disney Plus instead of doing the reverse? Integrating everything on Disney Plus into Hulu. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Okay? Because I would think you would want a more broad audience to watch your niche programming, like your Star Wars and your Marvel and your Pixar stuff, okay? But instead, they're taking everything from Hulu and they're going to put it on Disney Plus. Okay. Now, it just doesn't make sense to me. And the only thing I can come up with is the fact that they want anytime you want to go to Hulu, they want you to think of Disney Plus. Okay? They want you to think of Disney. Okay, it's a brand. It's more of a brand reorganization than it is a reorganization based on services. Okay. Now, what this means for prices, I don't know, and this is coming from someone who is a Hulu subscriber. Okay, I do subscribe to Hulu, Disney Plus, and HBO Max. What does this mean for HBO Max? Will that bundle collapse? Okay, we just don't know right now. Okay, there's still a lot of questions up in the air about this, and this is something I'm going to be keeping an eye on because this very well could determine whether or not I keep Disney Plus in the future. And what I mean by that is if they keep the prices the way they are. See, currently I pay for HBO Max, Hulu, and Disney Plus, which comes out to about $20 a month. Okay, with taxes, it's about $20 a month. But if they are going to just integrate everything from Hulu into Disney Plus, I'm going to expect that price to drop, especially if I have to watch the commercials too, which that's a whole nother can of worms right there I'm not going to get into because I don't think you should be paying for a service and have to watch the commercials. Okay, it's one thing if it's on satellite or cable, there's a bigger pie to cut up. But when you're paying directly to the people, I don't think you should have to watch the commercials. Okay, I really don't. All right, but I'm not getting into that. Okay, what I'm saying is, if they're going to integrate everything into Disney Plus, okay, they're going to need to lower the prices. Okay, they're going to need to, or else people are going to be going to Netflix. Because right now Netflix is cheaper than Hulu, than Disney Plus. It's cheaper than HBO Max. All right. Now that's the commercial package where you have to watch the commercials. Okay. And to be truthfully honest, there's more of a selection at Netflix than there is at, say, Hulu or Disney Plus or even HBO Max. That's why they bundled everything together to kind of compete with Netflix. But here's the thing is that if they're going to keep on competing with Netflix, they can't just keep the price where it's at. Okay? They have to lower those prices. Okay? I can understand paying $15 a month, $20 a month for no commercials. I can kind of understand that, especially if it's no commercials and maybe you get discounts on stuff on the Disney Plus store. Okay, but if you got to watch the commercials, they got to find a way to compete with Netflix, and that means lowering prices. And they have not made that announcement yet. That announcement has not come down the line at all. All they're saying right now is that next year the Hulu app will be shutting down and they're going to integrate everything into Disney Plus. How they're going to do that, I have no idea. Okay? I honestly think that it would have been a whole lot simpler and easier and probably better if they had just taken the Disney Plus stuff and integrated it into the Hulu app. Because to be truthfully honest, if you look at the app on Disney Plus, the app on HBO Max, and the app on Hulu, Hulu has the better app. Okay, it just has the better overall interface than Disney Plus or Hulu. And it's for one simple reason, and that is that you can delete your watch history from Hulu, but on Disney Plus you can't do that. You gotta watch the entire series forward and backward, and then it'll remove itself from your watch history. Whereas in Hulu, if maybe you want to just watch 1 or 2 episodes, then you can watch those 2 episodes, then delete the series from your watch history and not have it up there every time you log in. Okay? So hopefully they'll take some of the features of the Hulu app and bring them over to Disney Plus. I'm kind of hoping that. But I honestly think they should have taken the Disney Plus stuff, brought it over to Hulu, and just shut down Disney Plus, because Disney Plus was always a niche service. It was for kids, it was for Marvel fans, and it was for Star Wars fans. Okay? Whereas Hulu had a more broader audience. Okay? And you would think that by bringing the Disney Plus stuff over to Hulu and just shutting down Disney Plus, that you would get a more broader audience for those programs that maybe were for a certain audience. But they're doing the reverse, and if there ain't no price drop, okay, let me just say this. If there ain't no price drop, okay, it's just one more thing that's going to cause Disney to dig itself into a hole that it can't dig itself out of. But back to what I was saying, yeah, the Hulu app is ending. Everything will be moved over to the Disney Plus app. What this means in terms of prices and commercials and bundles and whatnot, I don't know yet. They haven't really made that announcement. They just did it during their earnings call that, hey, we're shutting down the Hulu app and we're moving everything over to Disney Plus. I can see consolidating everything into one app, but I think they should have done it the opposite way, gone from Disney Plus to Hulu. Okay. Still, what this means for prices, for bundles, for whatnot, I don't know yet. But I just kind of want to give you a heads up so that way maybe you're one of these people who doesn't really care about Disney Plus, doesn't really want what they have to offer, that maybe, this could be your time to start looking for other services if that's been something that you've been wanting to do for a while.
Now, moving on from the world of TV and movies, let's look at what happened this week in the world of video games.
So, starting off with our gaming news segment of this week's Geek Report, we've got a couple of stories that we need to talk about. The first couple of stories basically all are the same theme. The end of the PlayStation 4. Okay? The first one we're going to talk about revolves around a game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. If you've never heard of this game, that's okay, But it dropped on PC back in March of 2017. Later on, it was ported to the console, and after that, there was even a mobile version. And basically, it's just like another Battle Royale game, okay? I've played it, I've enjoyed it, I've in fact enjoyed it a lot, okay? I don't play it anymore. But basically, it's the same formula. You jump into an arena type area, like an island or something. You loot, you shoot, you survive, you win, okay? It's the basic formula, okay? Nothing fancy about it. Well, this past week we learned that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds will be ending support for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions later this year. Now, they're saying that the only current gen consoles will be supported from November onward. Okay, what that means is that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S will still be supported, but PlayStation 4 and Xbox One will no longer be supported after November of 2025. Okay, this is just one more like example of the end of the PlayStation 4. Okay. And I've been kind of seeing it coming for a while now. Okay. I mean, games that were supposed to drop on the PlayStation 4 didn't. A big example of that would be Delta Force. You know, they said Delta Force was going to drop on the PlayStation 4. Instead, it only dropped on the Xbox Series and PlayStation 5. Okay. It's getting harder and harder to find any games that are dropping onto the PlayStation 4. Okay. But that wasn't the only story that we had concerning the end of an era, so to speak.
Let's continue on with our gaming news segment.
Now, the second story we have that kind of deals with the future of the PlayStation 4 comes straight from us from the Sony blog. Okay. And by all intents and purposes, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what this could be later on. But they have just made it a little bit more difficult for people to buy the PlayStation 5. Okay? Really to put down the money for it. Okay? And this is coming from the Sony blog right here. And they are raising prices on all their consoles. And it starts effective today, which as of recording this video, I'm recording this on August 21st. But it's basically saying that from now on, the normal PlayStation 5 will be $549. The PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, which does not include a disc drive, which you have to buy everything digitally, would be $499, and the PlayStation 5 Pro will be almost $800, which is $749. Please take note that this does not include any taxes from your personal state or whatnot, that this is just their price, not including taxes. Okay. First off, this could just be a spike. Okay. This could very well just be a spike where they spike the price up and then at Christmas they drop it so that way it appears you're getting a deal, but really you aren't. Now, in this blog, they didn't come out and say it, but they're basically blaming the tariffs that are coming out for the United States, which is complete and utter hogwash. Okay? And they're not the only ones doing it. Xbox and Nintendo are doing the same thing. Okay? Apparently, they don't like tariffs. Tough. But, yeah, they've made it increasingly more difficult to buy a PlayStation 5. Okay? And I'm going to explain why that is. Okay? So, let's take the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. Okay? The cheaper one. Does not come with a disc drive. Okay? And you have to buy all your games digitally from their storefront. Okay? So, using that price, okay, of $499, basically $500, we can go to Amazon and find tons of PCs, gaming PCs, that are under that price. We've got a one right here that's $359, which would basically be like $100 cheaper than the cheapest PlayStation 5. We've got another one that's $399. Let's keep on going. Here's a Cyber Power that's over the $500 mark, but only by about $200 extra dollars. Okay. I mean, look at these prices. You know, you've got a couple that are under that price of $500, and you've got some that are over that price of $500. Okay, that offer you more value than, say, a PlayStation 5 would, or an Xbox Series X would, or even a Nintendo Switch 2 would, okay? The whole point of the consoles, at least one of the main points of the consoles for me, was their affordability, okay? You knew what you were buying them for, okay? You were buying them to play games and to maybe watch Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and that sort of thing, okay? You were not buying them, okay, for really anything else but those two things. But now they're basically trying to price them like you are going to be using them for other things. Okay? Look, what you do with your PlayStation is you either play games on it or you watch Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Paramount Plus, whatever your choice of streaming service is. Okay? But I can sit there and I can get a far cheaper PC for those prices, maybe one that doesn't play games, or one that does play games for a cheaper price than that. And let's not even talk about the PlayStation 5, which is almost $800 when you add taxes to it, okay? Look, this could just be a spike, okay? They spike the price real high, and then at Christmas they drop it real low so that everyone thinks they're getting a deal, okay? This just could be like their final attempt at, getting as much money as it can for the consoles before they start dropping them, okay? But if they want people to go to the PlayStation 4, okay, this ain't the way to do it. If they want people to go to the PlayStation 5, this ain't the way to do it, okay? Because all they're going to end up doing with the two stories I just mentioned, the whole thing about PUBG and this, is they're going to lose customers. That's all they're going to do is lose customers. All right? That's literally all they're going to do. Okay? And if something doesn't change soon, if some type of price lowering does not happen soon, okay, then you could very well see a gaming crash. And I know I've been talking about a gaming crash for about a year now because I've been seeing it, okay? And I'm not one of these super smart people, okay? But if something doesn't change soon, okay, you are going to see a gaming crash where people are just leaving the console gaming market behind and they're just going to go straight to PCs or mini PCs and basically play what they can on those PCs rather than through PlayStation or Xbox or even Nintendo Switch 2. Okay? They're pricing these games like they're actual PCs when they're not. They're gaming consoles. Okay? And if this is just a temporary spike before Christmas, before the Christmas holiday rush starts up, so be it. Okay? I'm not going to hold them against that. I mean, it ticks me off, but I'm not going to hold them against that, okay? But sitting there pricing them for almost $600 when these consoles mainly do two things. They stream movies to us and they play games. That's it. That's all they do, okay? They don't do anything else really. All right? Really shows that they're either desperate for money or just downright greedy. Okay. I mean, on one hand, they're forcing us to the next consoles with the fact that PUBG, and I think it'll be other games as well, but PUBG and other games ending support for the PlayStation 4. Okay. And on top of that, the fact that a lot of games are coming out on the PlayStation 5 instead of the PlayStation 4. And then on the flip side of that, they're charging us these exorbitant rates for these consoles. Okay? They're trying to have their cake and eat it too, and you can't do that. All you're going to do is push people away from the gaming market, or you're going to push them towards PCs and mini PCs, which nowadays you can get a mini PC for the price of an old gaming console. I mean, I went on Amazon and I looked up mini PCs for gaming under $500. Okay? This is what I came up with. You've got here one for like $289. You've got another one for $219. That's a regular PC for $600. $248, $400. I doubt that'd be a gaming PC. Let's see, you've got some for about $300, $400. Compare that with the new price ranges of the PlayStation 5, and you tell me which one is worth it. Okay? You tell me which one is worth it more. Alright. I'm honestly scared that this is their attempt at saying, oh, look, these consoles don't pay for themselves. Let's do everything streaming, okay? Where you can stream games, all right? If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm honestly concerned that they're trying to give an excuse to just drop the physical consoles altogether. That's what I'm really concerned about. Now, PlayStation and Nintendo, and I think Xbox also with Game Pass, has what they call their cloud streaming service, okay? Where if you have a high-speed internet connection, you can stream games from your PC to wherever you would normally stream them, like through PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox, I should say. I'm honestly worried that they're trying to set up a situation where they could go to their stockholders and say, hey, it's no longer affordable to make these physical consoles. Let's do everything digital. Let's do everything through cloud. That worries me because I prefer buying discs, okay? Does that mean I won't buy a digital game? No, it does not. But I prefer buying discs because it's a physical thing that you have in your hand that says, oh, I own this, okay? Oh, I can't have this taken away from me if suddenly PlayStation doesn't like something I say, all right? Whereas this type of service, these cloud services, they literally can take your games away from you by locking you out of your account for one reason or another. Okay? And I know people are going to say, oh, that's only if, you break their terms of service or something. For now it is. But what happens if you say something bad about PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo? What's stopping them from basically locking you out of your account? What happens if your account is hacked and they change the passwords and you can't get into your account? If that were to happen, okay, at least I know that with a disc, I could just pop that disc back in there and get my game back, okay? But with a service like this, it would mean losing all my games. If someone went and hacked my account, which has happened before, not me personally, but someone has hacked PlayStation before, okay, those games are gone. You have to literally rebuy those games in order to get them back. That's why I prefer disc, okay? That's why I want to get a disc version of the PlayStation 5. And that's why I'm very much concerned that they're trying to go all in on the streaming service thing. And another thing is that not everyone across the country has high-speed internet, okay? Yeah, there's Starlink and that sort of thing, but not everyone has the money for Starlink. Not everyone lives in a service area, okay? Until that happens, okay, by doing this, you're going to be locking a whole bunch of people out of gaming who would love to game, okay? And I'm just not down with that because I know what it's like to not have lived in a place that offered high-speed internet for the longest time. They didn't bring high-speed internet to where I lived at. They did not bring it till about 2020, okay? All right, they didn't bring it till about 2020. All right. Before that, it was either some type of wireless internet or you had to do the whole dial-up thing. Okay? So until 2020, there was no high-speed internet. We couldn't Netflix, we couldn't YouTube on TV or anything because we had no high-speed internet. Now we do, but still. All right? But like, yeah, like there are people across this country who do not have access to reliable high-speed internet, either because they live too far out of town or because the internet service they have is complete and utter garbage. Okay? And that's where one of my worries is that they're going to be excluding those people from gaming. And they're also going to go all in with this whole like cloud gaming service where instead of buying the discs, you just buy the game and stream to your laptop or whatever. And that's going to cut out a whole bunch of people who can't game, for one thing. And for another thing, it shows that you don't really own the game. You're just leasing it. Okay? A couple months back, let me think here. So about a year or two back, PlayStation announced they were removing all their Discovery Channel content from their system. Okay? This includes stuff people had already bought for. Okay? So if you went and you bought a certain movie or a certain whatever from Discovery that was on PlayStation, they removed it. Okay? They went and they removed it without any type of compensation or anything. They just said, "Oops, sorry, it's gone." What's stopping PlayStation from doing that? Because eventually the servers are going to fill up and they're going to have to start removing things. Okay? So, like, what's stopping them from doing that again? Let's say you buy a game that maybe you like but not a whole lot of people like, and they remove it. There goes your money right there. Right now, I feel like PlayStation is trying to set up a situation where they can sit there and say, hey, look, the console didn't do well. Let's go directly into cloud streaming. Let's go directly into it. Okay? I don't like that. I've never liked that. Okay? I think cloud streaming is okay. Okay, I'm not saying don't get it, but me personally, and I think a lot of other people personally prefer to buy discs, okay, to have a physical representation of our purchase, okay. And I feel that that's the situation PlayStation is setting us up for. Is they're setting us up so that way they can sit there and say the consoles didn't do well because of A, B, C, and D. It's time to go all in on cloud streaming and basically do away with discs and consoles and just go all in on cloud streaming. Okay. And I think that would do two things. I think first off, okay, that would take people like me who prefer the discs. I think it would make us really angry. I know it would make me angry because you're basically saying that you don't own your copy of GTA 6 or whatnot. You're just leasing it from us. And secondly, I think it would basically remove a whole group of people who maybe don't have good, reliable, high-speed internet for whatever reason. Okay, it would remove them from a pool of potential customers. Okay, but back to what I was saying. PlayStation is raising their prices on all their consoles by about $50. They're blaming it on tariffs, which is complete and utter nonsense. I don't blame it on tariffs. My personal opinion is that this is just some spike before the Christmas holiday. Okay, that at Christmas they'll probably drop these down. Okay, hopefully they'll drop them down to at least $400 for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. Okay, but either way, if something doesn't change with these prices on these consoles, one of two things are going to happen. Either there's going to be another gaming crash, or they're going to try to go full speed ahead with making everything digital and the cloud service and all that. And I am totally not down with that.
Let's continue on with our gaming news segment.
So, in our final news story of this Geek Report, we got a new trailer for Black Ops 7. So, let me just be clear. I'm not very excited for this year's Call of Duty. I think it's a mistake to come out with it now. I think everyone can see it's a mistake to come out with a new Call of Duty now. Just because I think everyone collectively is dealing with Call of Duty burnout. We are tired of the crazy skins. We're tired of it not making sense. We're tired of Call of Duty basically trying to be Fortnite. Okay? That's basically what it's doing, because 1 minute we're having Ninja Turtles on screen. The next minute we're having Beavis and Butthead. All the while they're trying to tell some great grand story that's set in a mostly modern setting. Okay? And you just can't do both of them. And really, Call of Duty doesn't know what it wants to be. Okay? It's confused. And by extension, it's made us confused. And really, people are just burnt out on Call of Duty right now. Okay? We just got Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Okay? And now we're getting another one. They should have waited a year, let this game cook a little bit, kind of think about the choices they made, and then brought out Black Ops 7. But they couldn't. They couldn't wait, because they're junkies and they're addicted to money. All right? At this point, that's the way I feel about it at this point. But look, let's take a look at the trailer here, okay, for Black Ops 7, and I'll just give you some of my thoughts on it.
They want you afraid. Fear makes you easier to control. It's time to wake up.
Your streets.
Now, I think this right here kind of confirms a theory I've had, that Menendez will be AI. Because this is going to be a sequel to Black Ops 2. And in that game, Menendez got a hold of karma for a long period of time. Okay? Or somehow they're going to get Menendez's brain and copy it and make an AI out of it. Okay? So I think what's going to happen in this campaign, and this is mainly a campaign trailer, is we are going to find out that Menendez is dead, but that somehow he made an AI of himself to continue his war and the war of Cortes D. Okay?
Shall once again run red with your blood.
Raul Menendez ignited global unrest on an unprecedented scale.
Menendez is a terrorist.
Now, you saw that date right there, 2035. This takes place 10 years after Black Ops 2. Okay? And if we're going to go by the correct storyline that they're saying is lore, okay, Menendez died at the hands of Mason. And that kind of set the stage for unrest across the planet. Okay? Where his organization, Cortes D, kind of went and just started launching attacks everywhere and everything. Okay? So that's basically the storyline that we're going with right now, based on what we're seeing in these trailers, is that Menendez died, Cortes D launched their attacks across the world, okay, and that Mason killed Menendez at the end of Black Ops 2.
Menendez is a terrorist. We're bringing peace and security to the world.
He refuses to let me.
Now, this right here is Troy Marshall. He was in Black Ops 6. And this here is David Mason, the son of the original protagonist, Alex Mason. Okay.
You go. Stop looking backwards, David. But ladders is what we do next.
A lot of people counting on us for answers.
You shall know fear.
Inspector 1, report.
Okay, this whole thing right here about the fear gas, we have been down this road before concerning gas. Okay, this right here just screams of unoriginality. Okay, we just did an entire game about a toxin. Are you telling me you couldn't come up with something better than a gas? Okay, are you telling me you literally couldn't come up with something better? I mean, seriously. Like, I'm honestly starting to think that this is Black Ops 6.5. That you had the Black Ops 6 game, and now you've got this. And it's just basically the continuation of Black Ops 6. Instead of it being a sequel to Black Ops 2.
This isn't real. The hell it ain't!
Okay, it's good to see Michael Rooker back. He played Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He also played a character in the Black Ops game, Black Ops 2 specifically. So it's good to hear his voice back. And they all be ashamed of themselves for nuking one of the best Metallica songs ever. Okay? I understand that you've got to get the copyright for it and all that stuff, but they all be ashamed for doing that. Okay? Master of Puppets is one of the best Metallica songs out there, and they go and they do some auto-tune to it, which is complete and utter bull. Okay?
So eager to leave, David.
Killing the man is a hell of a lot easier than killing the idea.
You were never cut out to be a Mason.
No more games. This ends now.
Get the Reznov Challenge Pack when you pre-order now.
Okay, first off, let's just start off with the obvious, okay? That really the obvious thing is they shouldn't have brought out Black Ops 7 this year. Okay? I just don't believe it. After what we got in the Battlefield 6 trailer, they go and bring this out. Especially after doing Beavis and Butthead skins and Ninja Turtle skins, they bring this out. Okay? They should be bringing it out this year. Okay? It's just that simple. Alright? This was a golden opportunity for them to kind of take a breather and just skip a year. But instead, they just had to bring something out. They just had to bring it out. Alright? And it's going to be a mistake. You know, not many people talk about the game Medal of Honor anymore. They're going to do the same thing to Call of Duty, all because they have become addicted to greed. That's the truth. Okay? And if you want a good point to that, it's this right here. It's the fact that they put the whole, like, Vault Edition stuff, all the skins they're going to have in the game, and right before the ending of the freaking trailer. Okay? They didn't trust you enough to just hold off before you got to this part, okay, that they went and they put it in there. They put this in there, then they did a little bit more gameplay. Okay? Which tells me already that, and now look, maybe they've done this before, I haven't really noticed, but that tells me after everything that's happened this past year, with Black Ops 6, with just the horrendous reception that Black Ops 7 has gotten, you would think someone up there would have said, okay, let's kind of stop the train for a minute, or else we're going to end up killing this franchise. Okay? And I have to wonder, okay? I have to wonder if at this point they even care about this franchise anymore. Okay, I have to wonder if at this point they even care anymore. You've got Black Ops 6, which is infested by hackers, okay? Which is infested by hackers, where legitimate players are getting cut out of the game almost immediately because they're being claimed to be hacking but really aren't, okay? And you've got a game that's infested with hacking, that's infested with cheating, where it's so bad that you have a tournament where there are hacking going on at the tournament, okay, that everyone can see is going on at the tournament, okay? That's how bad your hacking situation is. And you bring out this, okay? When they announced this at Gamescom, okay, that's where this was announced at Gamescom, which is kind of like the European version of E3. There were crickets. I mean, you have few people going, woo, you know, but the excitement that used to be Call of Duty was not there. And I think that it's only going to get worse as time goes on. I really think that. Okay. Something needs to change with Call of Duty. It's that simple. Something needs to change with Call of Duty. Or else, when we speak about Call of Duty, we will speak it in the same tones as Medal of Honor. A great game that fell short. Something needs to change. Okay, they can't keep doing this stuff they're doing now by trying to be Fortnite. Okay, because that's exactly what they're doing. You have a serious military shooter, and then in the next second, you have people with Ninja Turtle skins and Beavis and Butthead skins and all these crazy skins that have nothing to do, that don't even fit the theme of the game. Okay? And I think a lot of gamers, even those who are supportive of Call of Duty, are just sick and tired of it. Alright. Anyway, that was Call of Duty Black Ops 7. You can pre-order it now. It comes out this November. I'm not going to get it. You know, I didn't get Black Ops 6. I'm not going to get Black Ops 7. Because I'm not going to let this game ruin the memory I have of a great Call of Duty game like Black Ops 2. So I'm just going to avoid it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was your Geek Report for the weeks of August the 4th through August the 22nd of 2025. To kind of look back over what we talked about, we first started off in our TV and movie news segment, and we talked about the fact that Gina Carano has finally settled her Disney lawsuit. And I kind of gave you my overall 2 cents on everything concerning the lawsuit and the settlement. Then we moved on to some other Disney news with Disney ending Hulu. Okay. They're going to take everything from Hulu and Disney Plus and consolidate it into one streaming service. And I talked about what this all can mean for people like myself who get both Hulu and Disney Plus. Then we moved on into our gaming news segment, and we started off with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, a popular battle royale game, ending support for the PS4 in November. And then we moved on to the fact that Sony is increasing the price of all their PlayStation 5 consoles and what this all can mean. And then we looked at the Black Ops 7 trailer that dropped at Gamescom. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are staying well, staying healthy, staying safe. Check out my other video sites as well as my social media at the end of this video. I will see you guys in the next video and in the next stream. Laters.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of the Geek Report. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got a moment, please check out my other video sites as well as my social media and give them a like and follow. I will see you all in the next video and the next stream. Laters.